Hey guys, this is Melanie from Vintage Makeovers with Melanie. Hang out with me for a bit. I'm going to show you how I achieved this look. Here we go. All right, so I picked up this little French Provincial set. As you can see, it has been well used over the years. There's a lot of damage on the top. It's very, very dirty, so it's time to get busy. So the first thing we're going to do is clean this really, really well. I am using TSP and a rag. I'm going to go ahead and rub that down. It did take me a couple go-arounds to get the top clean enough so I could start sanding. Lucky me, this top is not a laminate, as a lot of these pieces are. So we're going to go ahead and use 120 grit sandpaper and get all of that paint off there and smooth out all the nicks and crannies. Now I'm going back over it with 220 to give it a nice smooth finish. Now to get this little edge here, I'm going to turn my sander all the way down to 1 so I have more control over it and get that little lip. Right, let's get that hardware off there. It's always a good idea to have a container or a baggie, something to keep all your hardware and screws in. That way you don't lose anything. All right, back to the TSP. Let's get these drawers all cleaned up. All right, it's all prepped and ready to go. So here we go. We're going to start with DIY's vintage linen, and I'm using a Klingon S50 brush. When doing a solid finish like this, you want to use long, clean strokes and make it as smooth as possible. I always prefer to paint with my drawers in if I can. It saves time, energy. These ones are inset, so I am able to do that. I just use a screwdriver to pull it out so I can get that lip. We're just going to continue on in this fashion and get our base coat on there. DIY covers really, really well, but we are going to need 2 coats. Now we need to get this little trim up here, so we're going to go with a fine artist brush so we don't get any paint on the top of our piece. And this is a close-up of what it looks like with our base coat on. You can see it's pretty good, but not good enough. So here we go, coat number 2. Now we're going to take a fine sanding pad. We're just going to give it all a good rub down, make our paint nice and smooth so that we're ready to seal her up. Before applying your sealer, it's really important to get all the dust off it. So I'm going to use my shop vac on blow, and I'm going to wipe at the same time. So we want to blow and wipe, blow and wipe. You can do that with a compressor also. We're going to use a product called Dark and Decrepit by DIY. We're going to use it as a stain. It dries a lot faster than traditional stain and will get me a nice pretty brown color. So I'm going to mix some water in there to dilute it, and we're going to start applying that again with the Klingon S50. I'm going to try to use really long, consistent strokes. I'm going to go from the back all the way to the front, really getting nice, smooth coverage. Products have no odor whatsoever, no VOCs, no chemicals, so it's really nice when you're working in an enclosed space. You don't have to worry about the smells of traditional stain. We're gonna go back with that really small artist brush and get the little lip on here so we don't get our white. Decided to use some gloss black spray paint on my pools this time. You just want to make sure they're really clean, and the spray paint with the primer in it will adhere. I put 2 coats of my Dark and Decrepit on there to get it to the deep color that I wanted. Now I'm going back with a sanding sponge, just making sure it's nice and smooth so that we're ready to apply our sealer. Okay, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and spray this. It's much easier to apply sealer with a sprayer. You can do it with a brush, totally possible, but I have my sprayer, so I decided to use it. This is a Critter, and it's very affordable. I will put the link in the comments below. For that, all you need is an air compressor, and you're good to go. I have Big Top by DIY in my Critter sprayer. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple coats, sanding the top lightly in between. When you pull out those drawer fronts just a little bit, you can get that top lip on there and the sides of the drawers. I wouldn't advise doing that with the paint because you'll get it inside the drawers, but the sealer's fine. Now that we have 3 coats of sealer on there, it's time to get those pulls back on, and man, doesn't she look pretty. So that's it, we're all done. Thank you guys for watching this makeover. Hope you like what you got. Everything's here at the store at Windmill Vintage Designs in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Come on by and see us.